Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into something really fascinating, where AI meets high finance.
Yeah, it's a hot area. AI isn't just tweaking things anymore, is it?
No, it seems like it's really changing the game for, the big institutional investors. How they handle the markets, or
Hmm.
looking at a company aiming to bring, well, a whole new level of clarity where things are often pretty murky.
You mean insightful data technologies?
Exactly.
Hmm.
Insightful data technologies. The name kind of says it all, right? Using AI to light the way for this serious money. Okay, let's unpack this.
Sounds good.
So our source material for this deep dive is pretty interesting. We've got an investor overview and also a detailed video script.
Oh, nice. So we get to see how they actually pitch themselves.
Yeah, exactly. It gives us a real peek behind the curtain, how they present their value to those institutional players. Let's just get a handle on their solutions.
And that context is, well, it's vital, isn't it? Because today's markets, uncertainty is just the baseline.
Right. It's not just a blip, it's constant.
It is. It's this pervasive force. Investors are dealing with crazy volatility, loads of data, sometimes too much data.
Making it harder to see clearly.
Precisely. So our mission today is to really explore how insightful data positions itself, not just reacting to the uncertainty, but actually turning it into an advantage for their client.
Transforming it,
Yeah.
into strategy.
Yeah, moving beyond just crunching numbers to actual foresight,
Yeah.
strategic foresight.
Makes sense. And the person driving this is Chanan Zevin. He's the CEO, the founder.
Ah, okay. The visionary behind it.
Yeah, his whole idea seems to be using AI's power to cut through that financial complexity, to bring clarity, bring control to the top tier of finance.
Got it.
So let's start right there. The core problem they're tackling for investors.
Okay.
It's that environment, right, where volatility is just normal
Mm.
and you're swamped with information.
Rounding in it sometimes.
Yeah, so the challenge isn't just reacting. It's like getting ahead of it, finding the signal in all that noise.
Dealing with that inherent unpredictability. Day in, day out.
Yeah.
High stakes stuff.
Absolutely. The chaos of global markets.
Exactly. And what's fascinating here, I think, is how insightful data looks at this.
How so?
Well, based on the sources, they don't just promise to filter the noise better. They seem to view the uncertainty itself differently.
Oh.
Not just as a problem, but as, well, almost like raw material, a resource.
Huh. Interesting way to put it. Raw material for strategy.
Kind of, yeah. They're enabling clients to forge a strategy from that uncertainty, not just survive it, but actually sculpt opportunities out of it, chart a better course through it all.
Okay, that's a big claim. Moving from just surviving to actively sculpting.
It is. It's proactive. It changes the whole dynamic for these sophisticated investors.
So if the problem is the chaos and the data overload, how do they do that? How does insightful data actually bridge that gap from uncertainty to, a solid strategy?
Right, the how. This is where their specific AI capabilities come in.
And the sources really highlight their predictive power first, don't they? That seems key.
Definitely. Stock prediction with apparently very high accuracy. That's a cornerstone.
Okay, high accuracy stock prediction. What else is in their toolkit?
Well, connecting this to the bigger picture,
Mhm.
it seems like they're using some pretty sophisticated methods, not just old school quant models.
Like what, potentially?
The sources hint at maybe deep learning, things like RNNs, or maybe even transformer models,
The kind that are good at finding really complex patterns in noisy data.
Exactly. Patterns that humans or even simpler algorithms would just miss. Imagine them pulling in standard market data, but also macroeconomic stuff, supply chain info, even sentiment from news and social media.
Whoa, all integrated.
That's what it sounds like, fully integrated. So they can spot these correlations, anticipate shifts with a kind of granularity that's, well, pretty new.
Okay, that level of prediction naturally flows into the next big piece, right? Risk management.
Absolutely crucial.
Because traditional risk models often look backwards, don't they? Using historical data.
Yeah, they rely heavily on past volatility, which can leave huge blind spots if the market changes suddenly or does something completely new.
So how does insightful data's AI approach risk differently? Does it look forward more?
This raises an important question. The sources suggest it goes way beyond just standard VRR calculations.
Which can be a bit static.
Right. It seems they're using more adaptive methods.
Mm.
Stress testing, scenario generation, maybe even things like GANs, generative adversarial networks.
To create plausible future scenarios, even ones we haven't seen before.
That seems to be the idea. thousands, maybe millions of them. So clients aren't just measuring past risk, but proactively modeling and managing emerging risks across really complex portfolios.
Wow, okay. And by simulating those futures, the AI can then...
It can facilitate dynamic hedging strategies, tailored precisely to those potential evolving scenarios. It's a shift from just reacting to risk to intelligently mitigating it before it fully hits.
So prediction, dynamic risk management. It sounds like this feeds into everything else too, like actual strategy development and day-to-day portfolio management.
It seems very integrated, yes. The sources really emphasize that it's not just a box of tools, it's more like a whole ecosystem.
An ecosystem, okay.
Yeah, the insights from prediction and risk feed right into optimizing how portfolios are allocated, rebalanced, even making tactical shifts on the fly.
Based on real-time signals from the AI.
Exactly. Think maybe AI-driven order routing or sophisticated planning that lets you adjust quickly based on the latest intelligence.
So strategy isn't just a quarterly meeting anymore.
No, it becomes this agile, continuous process, always informed by the AI, which is, pretty critical for staying ahead these days.
Definitely. And the sources also mentioned some really granular operational stuff, things like margin alerts, collateral reports.
The nuts and bolts. Essential for institutional finance.
Right. And sometimes those areas are where older systems lag or they only tell you after there's a problem. What's the AI edge here?
It seems to be about being preemptive. Again, leveraging those broader predictions.
So instead of just flagging a margin call after it happens.
The AI might issue an alert based on a projected scenario because it anticipates the market move and its likely impact, gives the client lead time to adjust.
Oh, that makes a huge difference.
It really does. And same for collateral reports. It's not just a static list of what you hold. The AI can apparently dynamically assess and optimize how collateral is used, minimizing drag, ensuring compliance, all very quickly.
That granular control plus the foresight. That sounds like a serious operational advantage.
Reduces a lot of hidden risk in those complex structures.
Okay, this brings us to something really critical sources keep mentioning. Trust. And related to that, transparency and compliance.
Yeah, absolutely fundamental.
Especially in this industry, right? With so much money involved and AI making these complex calls, how do they build that trust in decision-making? It can't just be a black box.
That's often the biggest hurdle, isn't it? This raises an important question. The company seems very focused on this. The sources strongly suggest they're not using traditional black box AI. They seem to be building in principles of explainable AI, XAI.
Explainable AI, meaning?
Meaning clients don't just get a buy signal. They can apparently interrogate the AI, understand why it made that prediction, what were the main drivers, how confident is it?
Trace it back to the data.
Potentially, yes. That level of interpretability is vital, not just for regulators and audits, but for the humans using it to actually feel confident.
So it's less about replacing human judgment, more about augmenting it.
Exactly. Fostering a partnership, human expertise working with machine intelligence.
That model, powered by explainable AI, that feels like a significant step. It fits the overall vision, doesn't it? The whole approach from Chanan Zevin, the CEO.
It does seem cohesive, pushing for a real shift, not just, slightly better tools.
Right. So zooming out, what insightful data technologies seems to be offering isn't just software. It's like a strategic framework powered by some very advanced AI.
Yeah, from the predictive stuff.
Anticipating market shifts.
To the dynamic risk management, adapting in real time.
And the tools for actually managing the portfolio day to day. It's all about giving investors that clarity and control in markets that are just getting more complex.
Like an AI co-pilot for high finance?
That's a good way to put it. AI co-pilot. So what does this all mean for you, the listener, trying to understand this landscape?
Well,
Insightful Data Technologies, with Zevin leading, is presenting this picture where AI really redefines how institutions engage with markets, taking that uncertainty and trying to turn it into a strategic edge.
yeah, a decisive advantage. And that leads to, I think, a really interesting thought for the future of finance.
Go on.
As AI gets embedded deeper and deeper, how does that balance shift, between the machine's calculations and essential human intuition or judgment?
Especially around trust, right?
Exactly. How do we maintain trust in these incredibly complex automated systems that are running so much of the financial world? It's fascinating to think about how this tech will shape not just markets, but our actual relationship with making financial decisions.
That is a really provocative point to end on. How that human-machine balance evolves. Lots to think about there.
For sure.
Well, we've definitely covered a lot today, trying to understand how insightful data technologies is using AI. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
My pleasure.
We hope this gives you some food for thought about where this technology is taking finance and how our understanding of markets might need to keep evolving too.